In a world of hidden desires and tangled lies, a young woman's seductive charm unravels the fragile threads of a marriage, pulling a family into a vortex of obsession, betrayal, and shocking revelations.
And then I am.
Hey folks, Mahi here. Heads up, there are spoilers ahead, so grab your snacks and let's dive into today's story.
A young woman named Chloe narrates how she can become anything men desire in her line of work. Her role demands not only physical appeal, but also the ability to engage clients with words and actions. Catherine, a gynecologist in her 40s residing in Toronto, works in her office throughout the day. She looks out her window and notices Chloe arriving at a nearby hotel with various clients. Catherine's husband, David, is invited to a dinner by one of his students but declines since it's his birthday and he must leave early. Catherine prepares a surprise birthday celebration for David, who has yet to arrive. She reassures her guests he is moments away when she receives a phone call. David informs her he missed his flight and won't be back in time. While on the call, the female student who invited him for dinner waits by his side. Disappointed, Catherine announces what happened and urges the guests to continue the party. The next morning, Catherine wakes to find David at home. He apologizes for missing the party, claiming he had no idea it was planned. Though it's nearly time for David to leave for work, she mentions a gift, but he says he'll work late and must leave early for class. Catherine sees her son Michael's girlfriend and warns them to use protection after learning David knows about their relationship. Catherine begins to suspect David's infidelity when she discovers a photo of him hugging the female student, accompanied by a text expressing gratitude for the previous night, David's birthday, when he said he couldn't return. That evening, Catherine and David dine out with friends. Catherine notices David flirting with the waitress, which visibly disturbs her. She goes to the bathroom and finds Chloe crying nearby, offering to help. While washing their hands, Chloe offers Catherine her hairpin, which she politely declines, stating she must return to her husband. Catherine then observes Chloe, looking upset with another client at a nearby table. After dinner, Catherine confronts David about flirting with the waitress, but he insists he was being friendly. She questions if he missed the plane intentionally and offers drinks, which he declines. The next day after work, Catherine stops by the hotel bar where Chloe spends her time. Chloe gazes at her with interest, admitting she usually doesn't meet women. Catherine buys her a drink and reveals her concerns about David's potential infidelity. She requests that Chloe approach David at the coffee shop he frequents, posing as a student, to test his reaction. The next morning, Chloe heads to the coffee shop and sees David reading a newspaper. After hesitating, she asks him for sugar. David meets her gaze and hands it over. That afternoon, Catherine meets Chloe, who describes their brief interaction. David was friendly, slightly flirtatious, but nothing significant occurred, though he seemed curious about Chloe's life. Catherine asks how Chloe manages her work. Chloe shares her perspective on seeing the good in people and the variety of individuals she encounters, including Catherine. Catherine pays Chloe, asking her to meet David again to observe his behavior that evening. Catherine notices David chuckling at an online conversation. Downstairs, she finds Michael's girlfriend breaking up with him via FaceTime. He shuts the door in Catherine's face, and she goes to David, who says he was talking to a student and mentions their son's situation. David assures her Michael will be fine, sharing a sip of scotch. Catherine bought for David's birthday. They reconnect as she reflects on their past, when they were young lovers, greeting each other at the airport. David holds her, saying he misses those times, but remembers work and leaves her to it. Catherine sees Michael on the phone with David, asking how he and Catherine met. Soon, Chloe texts Catherine to meet up. Feeling more at ease about David, Catherine says she no longer needs Chloe's help, but Chloe reveals she already met David again. Chloe details their encounter, describing lunch, kisses, and David's arousal, deeply disturbing Catherine. Catherine leaves, telling Chloe she made a mistake involving her. As Catherine navigates a tight parking space, Chloe rides away on her bicycle, but falls on a snowy patch, scraping her knee. Catherine takes Chloe to her office, opening her medical bag to treat the injury. As she begins cutting Chloe's pantyhose, Chloe slides them down, making Catherine uncomfortable. Chloe later apologizes, continuing to discuss her time with David, revealing they kissed in a secluded spot, and she performed a sexual act before he left for work. Catherine awkwardly asks if Chloe is free of STDs, and Chloe promises to provide medical records. Catherine drives home, her mind racing with Chloe's stories, and pleasures herself. The next day, Chloe visits Catherine's office with her medical paperwork. She overhears Michael discussing his recital tuxedo with the secretary and approaches him while he photocopies music sheets, noting his resemblance to Catherine and asking if he's a musician. They chat about her favorite band. After giving Catherine the documents, Chloe mentions she'll meet David again that afternoon as requested. Catherine receives a text from Chloe inviting her to a hotel. Friends ask why she's acting strange, assuming it's about David ditching his birthday, but she insists it's resolved and leaves to meet a patient. At the hotel, Chloe, in a bathrobe, recounts her afternoon with David, starting at a park, but moving to the hotel, claiming they slept together in explicit detail. Chloe asks if Catherine is affected by the story, but Catherine doesn't respond. Chloe sneezes, mentioning possible illness, and says she's taking zinc supplements. Catherine pays her with an envelope, and they leave the room. Waiting for the elevator, Catherine shares how she and David used to be. When Chloe asks if she still loves him, Catherine says she doesn't know, then breaks into tears on a corridor couch. Chloe comforts her and regretfully kisses her. Shocked, Catherine jumps up and leaves. That evening, Catherine attends Michael's piano recital, sitting apart from David, who notices. They focus on Michael's dramatic performance, applauding with the crowd. At the after-party, Catherine sees David chatting with a woman. He approaches Catherine, congratulating her on Michael's performance with a kiss on her hand, but returns to the woman when called, upsetting Catherine. She meets Chloe at the hotel, begins undressing her but stops. Chloe initiates, and they become intimate. Afterward, Catherine pays for Chloe's taxi, tells her to stop seeing David, and rejects the hairpin Chloe offers, saying it was her mother's. Catherine leaves. At home, David asks if Catherine has been unfaithful. Infuriated, she retorts with the same question. They fight, and Michael, overhearing, retreats to his room. The next afternoon, Catherine returns to her office to find missed calls and an email from Chloe with a photo of them in bed. Chloe enters with flowers, asking if Catherine enjoyed their night. Embarrassed, Catherine admits she did, but ends their arrangement. Heartbroken, Chloe confesses her love. Catherine, taken aback, apologizes for the misunderstanding, thanks Chloe, and compensates her. Chloe leaves in tears, seeking retribution. Chloe attends Michael's hockey practice, flirting and offering a CD of his favorite band. He says he downloaded it, claiming she dislikes the internet. Chloe mentions details from his Facebook, including a photo where Catherine was out of focus. She leaves, promising to see him later. After a provoking text from Chloe, Catherine, upset, calls and asks to meet at a hotel in an hour. That night, Catherine and David visit a coffee shop where she demands he confess to an affair. He admits lying about his flight, but denies involvement with anyone. Chloe enters, and Catherine's expression shifts. David, perplexed, asks who Chloe is and why Catherine is distressed. Catherine realizes Chloe fabricated her interactions with David to create a rift, driven by feelings for Catherine. Catherine apologizes to David for doubting him. As he storms off to work, she stops him on the street, confessing her encounters with Chloe. Surprised but compassionate, David hugs and kisses her. Fueled by jealousy, Chloe visits Michael at home, becoming intimate with him in his parents' bed. Catherine returns, discovers them, and sends Michael away. An angry Chloe confronts Catherine, accusing her of using her like her male clients, insisting money won't make her disappear. In a frenzy, Chloe brandishes her hairpin, cutting her hand, and threatens Catherine. Afraid, Catherine asks what Chloe wants. Chloe demands a kiss. Catherine complies, but seeing Michael's reflection in the window, she panics and shoves Chloe. Unable to balance, Chloe stumbles against a large window, shattering it. She tries to stabilize herself but falls from the bedroom window, hitting the patio below. Months later, at Michael's graduation party, Catherine entertains guests at their house, exchanging looks with David and Michael. As a guest approaches, Catherine turns to talk, wearing Chloe's hairpin in her hair. That's where the movie ends. So that's it. If you enjoyed this movie, share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to check out the recommended movie on your screen right now. Watch it and join Mahi's movie recaps.